Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, November 17th, 2020, and this is the second hearing of the month for the hearing officer for the City of Tempe. I'm going to go ahead and read a few things into the agenda into the record, and then we can get into our agenda. First of all, to make some introductions, my name's Vanessa McDonald, and I'm the hearing officer, and joining me this afternoon are Shelby Meyer to my left and Drew Yoakum to my right, and they're from the Community Development Department. The City of Tempe Hearing Officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out the provisions and the intent of the Zoning and Development Code and the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the City of Tempe. Code violations include, but aren't limited to, deteriorated landscaping, inoperable vehicles, deteriorated structures, storage of junk or refuse, or deteriorated swimming pools. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, property manager, or other responsible person to abate a code violation, or authorize the city to abate the condition giving rise to that violation. The cost of any abatement is the responsibility of the property owner on the property where the violation occurred and is collected as an assessment against the property found to be in violation. On today's agenda, we have 7 items. We have a set of minutes from November 3rd, 2020, and 6 property abatements. There's a slight change to our agenda that was published probably yesterday. Agenda item number 2 is now in compliance with the code and won't be heard on this agenda. Previously, agenda items number 3 and agenda items number 10 were also brought into compliance after the agenda was published. Any property owner who's aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer can file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. As such, the deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on December 1st, 2020. So we're going to jump into our agenda. The first item is actually agenda item number 1 is consideration of the minutes from November 3rd, 2020. I had a chance to review those minutes, and I think they accurately reflect what took place at that hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and approve the minutes from November 3rd, 2020. That brings us to agenda item number 4. This is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Bergner property. This property is located at 136 East Fremont Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented today by Julie Schofield.
Good afternoon, Julie Schofield, Code Inspector.
Good afternoon.
This property is at 136 East Fremont Drive. It's been open since mid-July for junk, trash, and debris in the front and backyard, and also deteriorated landscaping. Several notices have been mailed to the owner, and recently found out that this property has had a fire, and so the property is vacant, and I guess the fire department ended up taking the owner into social services. So he has been notified of these violations, but he has not been able to comply and clean up the property. And these are the pictures that I took today of the front and backyard. As you can see, there's danger signs on the door and different notices from the fire department. You can see there's junk, trash, and debris.
Sure.
This is the backyard, and occasionally this door is unsecure. Today it was closed, but that is in the bid as well, to have that door secure if it's not, if the when the abatement is conducted.
Yeah, the photos in my packet showed it ajar.
Yeah. Here's a dead tree that's on the side of the house.
So I'm sure the damage inside is pretty extensive.
Yes.
But at least this will be an opportunity for the homeowner to get the outside cleaned up.
That's correct.
So, so he's just not been responsive at all or unable to get a hold of him.
That is correct. I believe it's like for mental illness
Oh, okay.
type facility.
Okay.
And so I'd like to request a 180-day open abatement.
Okay. Drew, any public comment on this item?
We received no communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, I agree. I mean, this one appears to be, pretty urgent, given the, that there was a fire here, that it's unlocked or it's sometimes open, and just the overall condition of the property needs to be abated. So I'm going to grant your 180-day
Okay.
open abatement
you.
request contained in CE 204495.
Thank you.
That brings us to agenda item number 5. This is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Campos property located at 1336 East Fremont Drive. Again, Ms. Schofield.
Yes, this property is at 1336 East Fremont Drive, and the complaint was for a deteriorated pool landscaping in the backyard. There has been several notices sent out since early July, and a citation was issued, and it's been really slow progress. And today, as of today, they really did get some stuff done. However, it wasn't completely done, and this is the dead tree that still stands in the backyard. So I was going to ask for a 180-day open abatement for this property as well. But I know once the tree is down that it will be in compliance. But with the history and the tree debris that was in the past, it might become a problem again.
And what about the pool?
The pool is completely empty.
Okay.
He
Yeah,
did take
'cause,
care of that.
I mean, I understand that the tree's an issue, but a lot of these other photographs that I'm looking at from September, there's still quite a lot of, I don't even know what you'd call it, furniture or just junk and,
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he has done a lot of work, but this is the majority that was left today.
okay. Okay. Drew, any public comment?
Again, no communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, I mean, it seems like he's on his way, but nevertheless, we do like to have the tool available for us, in case he backtracks and, just goes and repeats old habits. So given that there's no public comment and I agree with your assessment of the property, I'm going to approve the 180-day open abatement request for the Campos property contained in CE 204343.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We are at agenda item number 6. This is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Ruiz property. This property is located at 1325 East Don Carlos Avenue. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented today by Hector Hered. I can never say that.
Heredia is fine, thank
There
you.
we go.
Hector Heredia, Code Inspector, approximately 7 years. This case was initiated back in August, 3rd of August of 2020, and subsequently issued notices as well as receiving multiple anonymous complaints about the failure to comply. The property owner has never initiated any contact, as well as a citation being issued, where has also fallen into default. These are the most current photos taken today at approximately 1:30 this afternoon, clearly illustrating that no corrective action has been taken, even in the slightest degree, to alleviate some of the concerning portions of the dead tree that is clearly visible as well from public access points being Don Carlos. Today, I am seeking a 180-day open abatement to have the violation cleared as stated in the notices.
Okay. Boy, that is one big tree.
It is a pretty big
Are there
tree.
power lines going through that? I mean,
So it's in a very tricky position, as can be seen from the photo. Yes, there are power lines running through it, as well as minimal access via alley.
right.
We've tried to contact the property owner on several occasions, even stopping by, but nobody responds, nobody answers the door, and nobody even leaves a message of any concern. So at this point, we are seeking to move forward with our process.
Okay. Thank you. Drew, any public comment?
No communication at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I agree. Yeah, it clearly needs to come down and needs professionals to do it.
Thank you.
So this is going to be an interesting removal, most likely. And I agree that you need the 180 days to abate this property. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your abatement request for the Ruiz property located at 1325 East Don Carlos.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
very nice
you.
afternoon.
Agenda item number 7 is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Chapin property. This property is located at 1817 East Concordia Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented today by Michael Glad.
Good evening. Michael Glab, Residential Code Inspector for the City of Tempe. I'm here tonight in reference to this property on Concordia. In May of 2020, my office received at least 2 complaints related to violations of city code, specifically trash, junk, and debris to the front of the property. I observed the violations present and mailed notice to the property owner. In June of 2020, I returned to the property and observed that the violation still remained and mailed a second letter to him. 2 additional complaints were received by my office. In July of 2020, my office received 3 more complaints. A follow-up occurred where I posted a notice to the structure itself. In August of 2020, my office received 2 additional complaints and a citation was issued to Mr. Chapin. In September of 2020, my office received 1 additional complaint and the citation went into default. Mr. Chapin did not contact the Tempe City Courts. As a result of that, then sought the abatement process. I'm seeking approval for a 180-day open abatement window for this property, as the tenants are unable to get some trash and debris from the driveway into a trash can approximately several feet away. Mr. Chapin owns multiple properties in the city of Tempe, and there's at least 1 other property where the tenants have the same issue of being unable to get trash into a trash can. So in light of Mr. Chapin's either inability or unwillingness to get his tenants to clean up the property, I'm seeking that 180-day open abatement window. I can present a photograph here. I apologize, it appears dark. If I can, is there a way to adjust the brightness by chance?
I think I can see it.
Okay. The trash and debris is mainly located here in the driveway and the side yard. And there has been some slight removal of it. However, it's still incomplete. There's trash still piled up right in this vicinity here. It's a very small job, but again, it's been there since May of 2020. And despite multiple attempts to notify the owner and tenants, nobody wants to address it.
Well, and clearly with the number of complaints you've gotten, the neighbors are particularly aggravated by this property. So, it's a nice neighborhood. The homes, in surrounding homes are, neatly kept and stuff. So, any public comment, Drew?
We've received no communication at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I agree with your assessment. I mean, it's not a huge job, but nevertheless, we like keeping our properties looking nice here in Tempe. So I'm going to grant your 180-day open abatement request for the Clardy property located at, the Chapin property located at 1817 East Concordia Drive.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
evening.
Have a good night. Now we come to the Clardy property. This is an abatement request for a property located at 242 West Myrna Lane. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented today by Brandy Zedler.
Good evening. Brandy Zedler, Code Inspector with the City of Tempe. This complaint was originated in May of 2020 for Deteriorated Landscape. Mailed the first notice to the property in which it was returned with no forwarding address. Property appears to be vacant. I did post the final notice to the property, and even as of today, it's still hanging on the front door. So I have received many complaints from the surrounding neighbors in concern of this property and the condition that it's in, which is why I am requesting an open 188-day abatement at this property. It's been vacant. It appears from the neighbors it's been vacant for years, and with no location to the owner. This are pictures that I took today. The property appears to be in the same condition, if not worse, to time. This is the front of the property. Someone decided to gather their cactus and put it in boxes in front of his house.
Interesting.
And then this is the backyard as of today.
Oh, yeah, no communication whatsoever. And
No communication at all.
no attention to this property. Drew, any public comment?
We've received no communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Then I agree, this property definitely needs to be cleaned up. I'm sure it's an aggravation to the neighbors in this neighborhood. So I'm going to approve your 180-day open abatement for the Clardy property located at 242 West Myrna Lane, contained in CE 203607.
Thank you.
And the last item on our agenda, agenda item number 9, is a request to abate public nuisance items at the Salazar property. This property is located at 1521 East Beldamar Drive, and the applicant is the City of Tempe, represented by Brandy Zedler.
Brandy Zedler, Code Inspector with the City of Tempe. This complaint was initiated in June of 2020 for Deteriorated Landscape. I did mail the first notice to the property owner. Again, same situation. It was returned with no forwarding address. I did post the final notice to the property, where again, it's still hanging on the front door. No contact from the owner. I have issued notices in previous months to this property where it was occupied, so it's recently become vacant. The water is not on and isn't being paid, and there has been no change as of today to the condition of the property. Here are the pictures I took today.
Okay. Yeah, it's been pretty much the same for the past month.
Yeah.
Which is,
Really no change. And because it's vacant, I am requesting an open 180-day abatement so the property can be maintained until it becomes occupied again.
okay. Drew, any public comment?
We've received no communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Once again, I agree with your assessment of the property and definitely think that we need to clean this up. And there's been no communication with the property owners, so I'm going to go ahead and approve your 180-day open abatement request for the Newland property at 2004 East Radcliffe Drive, contained in CE 201080.
Oh, I think there needs to be a correction on the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I jumped to the last item on the agenda. 1521 East Beldamar Drive, contained in CE 203983, and it's the Salazar property.
Correct. Thank you.
I previously announced that the Newland property at that other address had been brought into compliance. So that concludes our agenda this afternoon. Mr. Yocum, do we have any announcements?
Just one, the next hearing officer meeting will be scheduled on December 1st, 2020 at 5 p.m. here at the
Okay.
council chambers.
Okay, great, thank you. There being no other announcements, and we've concluded our agenda, so we're adjourned.